Good afternoon. I'm Annie Bergeron-Oliver. Here are some of the major stories that happened in Canadian politics this week.
A vision of our ancestors.
Hundreds of chanting "I'll No More" protesters braved the snow Monday to greet politicians returning to Parliament Hill after a 6-week winter vacation. Demonstrators are up in arms over Bill C-45, the second omnibus budget bill making it easier for Aboriginals to lease their land.
All the strengths
Finance Minister Jim Flaherty revealed to the public Thursday that he's taking strong steroid medications for a serious skin disorder. The condition is not life-threatening, but the treatment has caused noticeable appearance changes, such as facial bloating, redness, and weight gain. And Prime Minister Stephen Harper started off the 2013 session of Parliament on a social note, tweeting photos and videos of his daily routine to the Twitter hashtag #DayInTheLife. So iPolitics senior writer Elizabeth Thompson is joining us now. So Elizabeth, you know, the Prime Minister seems to have this reputation for being very closed off. So what does this day in the life of Harper mean? Does it signal a change in his behavior and his personality for the upcoming session?
I'd say he's not as much closed off as he is controlling of the message and very much controlling of the image. They will go to great lengths and actually great taxpayer expense to make sure they have the right visual backdrop, that they have exactly the control in all ways. You know, for example, they screen people going into speeches to listen to the Prime Minister, so which is something most other leaders don't do. So it's just as controlling or controlled as everything else that he does, but it did provide a really interesting snapshot into what his day looks like, because some of us on the Hill may have some idea when we see the motorcade or we see meetings, but we don't necessarily see, you know, cute cuddly animals, and we don't see him you know, giving high fives to MPs and stuff like that.
Prime Minister Harper had his first open caucus meeting, and he said that the economy is going to be his number one priority moving forward. What is interesting is not too long ago, you know, he had 2 armored vehicles sent to India, which cost over $1 million. So it just seems kind of like a contradiction.
Well, it was very curious, and it definitely raised eyebrows with the opposition. They went after him in the House, as we saw this week. But it's, I think the bigger problem for him is this is happening at the same time as the government is trying to reduce the size of the public service, and that process has been making its way through the system. It's the first time they've tried to do it in quite this way. People got workforce adjustment letters back in the spring, in many cases, or in the summer. Then they have this whole process where they have to compete for the remaining jobs. It's around now that some of these people are reaching the end of that line, and they're learning they no longer have a job. They're going to have to find something else or go on EI. And at the same time, they pick up their papers or they turn on their televisions and they get these images of the Prime Minister spending $1 million to bring 2 vehicles to India, when the Indian government, which pointed out a day or so afterwards, has forgotten more about security than Canada even knows, was offering armoured plated vehicles as well. You know, but it is ironic. This is one of the things that when he was in opposition, I would sit there in the gallery and watch him just absolutely crucify Jean Chrétien or other prime ministers for doing exactly this kind of thing. They would, for example, regularly use the access law to get a hold of the Challenger logs and find out who was flying, and they wouldn't hesitate to call it the Taj Mahal. And so it's a little bit not in keeping with his previous rhetoric as an opposition leader. But we'll see if Canadians care and whether Canadians remember when they go to the polls. 2015 is a long time from now.
True, but you know, there's still lots to do. Well, that's Elizabeth Thompson. She was joining us today. Thanks so much, and we look forward to your work.
Thank you.